Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 14. We presenting our assignment which is Artificial Intelligence and Law. Our group members is ada Haikal, Luqmanhakim, Syed Ahmad Kamil, Mohamed Saiful Azrel and Muhammad Hardi. For introduction, the term modern law refers to an approach to legal practice that uses new technologies and collaborations to increase efficiency and make better operational judgments. New ways to practice law are being encouraged by collaborations between legal and technology experts. Before the digital age, lawyers relied on phone conversation, book study, and manual document examination. Eventually, computerized research tools like LLB00503 emerged. This is the time when artificial intelligence is becoming a big part of our lives. Lawyers who do not accept modern technology will be at disadvantage. People who know how to use new competitive tools and software will be the one who will be able to be effective in this profession. Adopting legal technology and working with skilled tech professionals and vendors is gaining a lot of attention in practice of law. A lot of clients are now looking for their lawyers to help them make their work more efficient and use new automated tools, all while keeping costs down. The only way to accomplish this is to look into modern law and decide which tools and collaborative opportunities can help a company remain marketable, better decision making, and ultimately assist lawyers in cutting costs while remaining innovative. It is important to keep in mind that modernizing practice will look different for each lawyer, legal department, or firm. In this study, we will explore the status of utilizing AI in the legal fraternity in Malaysia. As we know that AI has the ability of digital computer or computer control robot to perform tasks commonly associated with intelligent beings. This will guide us about the benefits and also about the challenges that may rise when utilizing AI in legal procedure. This paper also will make a comparison between about the adoption of AI in Malaysia and other developed countries, and whether it can be used as a stepstone to modernize the legal system around the world.
And now we move to the legal status of artificial intelligence in Malaysia. Malaysia has not yet recognized the legal status of AI as subject of the law and capable of bearing its own legal liability. However, Malaysia's law treats AI liability the same as any products or goods that are manufactured in which the liability may go to the creator, owner or user of the technology. The Sale of Goods Act 1957 SOGA and also Consumer Protection Act 1999 CPA and tort law, which together serve as a platform for product safety and consumer protection, would address liability in the event of a malfunction. So under the section of 68 clause 1 of the CPA states that when damages is caused wholly or partly by a defect in a product, the following person shall be liable for the damage. The first is that the producer of the product, and the second one is the person who, by putting his name on the product or using a trademark or other distinguishing mark in relation to the product, has held himself out of the producer of the product, and also the person who has, in the course of his business, imported the product into Malaysia in order to supply it to another person. So, when dealing with the customer, SOGA and the CPA impose a certain implied terms that cannot be avoided by contract. This term implying guarantees and terms regarding title and lack of liability, corresponding with description, fitness for purpose, price, and also repairs and maintenance of the system. AI software manufacturer or supplier will be liable for any malfunction that result from a breach of these mandatory implied terms. So we move to the point of the adoption of AI in Malaysian legal fraternity and its challenge. Adoption of AI is to assist court and the judges in making decisions for a few certain offences that are not very critical and consider the punishment is based on previous similar cases. This is shown in 19 February 2020 in case that Kota Kinabalu Magistrate Court has made a history of using artificial intelligence technology to pass sentence for 4 cases under Section 12 of the Dangerous Drug Act 1952. On the other hand, law firms also use AI-based technology tools that were invented to reduce the workload from managing files and the other traditional methods. This because it's helped to boost the firm competitiveness and efficiency in handling the case over the firm that still use traditional methods. Next slide. And so we move on to the challenge of the adoption of AI in Malaysia. The first challenge is that the cost for adopting AI and their maintenance is very high. Artificial intelligence technology AI mostly operates on the data that has been inserted in them. Therefore, the risk for the system to be hacked and infringed by third party was highly risky. In order to prevent it, there needs to be a scheduled maintenance to be conducted, and it needs a lot of expenses to do so. We need to know that the small firms in our country, that the small firms compose for 80% of the market, and they don't have the stable flow of budget or resources to invest in the technology that will only help them marginally. So the second challenge is that the adaptation of AI system in decision making may cause procedural objection. The court has always upheld the doctrine of procedural fairness, and there might be arise an argument in which there might be a possibility that the accused was not satisfied, and because of the sentence by the AI system was infringed by their right to be under the fair proceeding, as the system was not adopted by the earlier proceeding case. Moving on to the next presenter.
Next, we will move on to the comparison with the legal approach adopted by other developed countries. The continuous development of technology has definitely brought a huge impact to the legal field. Now, currently, the utilization of artificial intelligence is rapidly increasing in many sectors. The legal sector also did not want to drop out of the race, as this would help them increase their efficiency and accountability in their field of work. In India, they had established an AI task force report as a part of their first phase of the artificial intelligence framework. That said, nature of the Indian legal system is still mainly dependent on human power alone, as they still believe the legal sector to be labor intensive. Artificial intelligence also would help with other aspects of legal duties such as due diligence. A company situated in Toronto, Canada, named Kira Systems, claimed to find a solution for managing the problems surrounding law employees when preparing the due diligence. The company founder, Noah Wilsberg, who was a former lawyer, explained that junior lawyers make due diligence mistakes for a variety of reasons. Working very late at night or on the eve of a weekend, forgetting to undertake due diligence before the conclusion of the work week, and failing to act on it when a transaction structure is completely redesigned are all examples of this. How does AI affect the law? These last few years, we have been witnessing the acceptance of AI in many sectors of jobs around the globe. Eventually, we will begin to accept that these intelligent machines or robots, as it usually called, as part of our circle and community. The acknowledgement of artificial intelligence then will raise a question to the law sector. Does its adaptability changes the course of how people usually know in that occupation, and does its acceptance make any effect on the legal sector? According to recent data published by the Law Society, by 2038, automation will have replaced 67,000 legal positions. Even though the advanced technology help lawyers ease their jobs on documents and data, the possibility of job losses in the sector continues to be a source of concern. While some may fear that its impact in the future will be harmful, many industry experts believe that the opposite is true. Rather than displacing jobs, AI integration is expected to alter the legal profession by motivating lawyers to acquire irreplaceable abilities. That's all. Next presenter.
Okay, thank you Mr. Luqman. I am Hardi. I would like to explain the extent to which AI credibility can be trusted. The main issue about trust is not all about the rejection of the technology, but it's also about its misuse, such as inappropriate over-reliance on technology or abuse of the technology for individual benefits. Trust can be predicted by the level of reliance on the technology itself, while the level of correspondence between user trust and the technology capability, known as calibration, can influence the actual outcome of technology use. When researchers examine the cognitive trust in AI, they measure it as a function of whether users are willing to take factual information or advice and act on it, and whether the technology is helpful, competent, or useful. Trust in AI can be divided by certain criteria that are based on transparency, reliability, and characteristics. Transparency in technology is considered to be critical for developing trust in new technology. AI has become much more problematic than other technology because to understand AI requires deep learning. This is because AI needs to be understood in a way that why a specific decision was being made can be understandable to its user, even if they have a little technical knowledge about it. Reliability in the case of AI is often difficult to assess, especially in the context of high machine intelligence. AI reliability and trust are less straightforward in high versus low intelligence technology. In terms of characteristics, we can see that AI is much better at performing tasks. High machine intelligence significantly improves the performance of AI in traditional technology-related tasks. The main difficulty is assessing AI is the tendency for people to discard it. This is because it will become problematic if we connect human moral activity with AI. So, should AI be used in law? So, according to CBRE News, nearly half of London law firms are already utilizing AI and a further 41% have imminent plans to do so. And according to a survey of over 100 law firms, 63% law firms are using it for legal document generation and review, and the same proportion for e-discovery, due diligence 47% and research 42%, common application and 30% for compliance and administrative legal support. The use of AI will unlock potential growth within the law. This is because there is a big possibility for AI to boost productivity and reduce costs, and also perform tasks faster and more efficiently. AI has already found its way into supporting lawyers and clients. The current AI legal application to help the lawyer are helping lawyers to perform due diligence and research, providing additional insight and shortcut through analytics, and automating creative processes, including some writing in legal work. AI and other technologies can take many tasks that require human lawyer to think deeply, and the development are happening at quite a rate. There also have been some exciting development in legal AI. That is back in 2016, the Do Not Pay apps was created to provide legal advice for people in London and New York who cannot afford to hire a solicitor for small claims, such as parking fine. The method is the chatbot will ask the user a series of questions that are related to their case and provide the court document that a client needed, also with a script to read in the court. I pass it to the next presenter.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hardi, for our concluding points. Strong AI or artificial intelligence that attempts to replicate human intellectual capacities is still debatable. It is impossible to overestimate the challenge of scaling up AI's modest achievements. Despite these advantages, the possibility of job losses in the sector remains a concern. So if AI replaces the need for secretarial assistance, graduates and professionals starting their careers in the field are likely to get more valuable early experience. So overall, we can deny that the advantages of AI in a legal department are numerous in terms of enabling lawyers to accomplish things faster, better, and cheaper. AI has arrived. So moving to the next slide, this is our suggestions for this issue. So AI is presently affecting many in-house operations of legal research, contract development, and many others to come, and will continue to disrupt the legal sector indefinitely. In the final installment of this series, we will examine what in-house lawyers should be doing right now to reap the benefits of AI. So to secure the incorporation of AI, we must take a balanced approach. So here are a couple of ideas. Firstly, a comprehensive regulatory framework must be developed that clearly defines the obligations and liabilities of this intelligent machine. And secondly, in order to manage its behavior, the accountability component must be considered. And lastly, tougher data protection measures are essential to protect privacy. As a result, the solution is not to ignore technological advances and avoid them, but to embrace them and use AI to our advantage by putting in place the required legislation to protect its users' interests. So that's all from us. Thank you for your attention.